Johnson County Community College held a panel with some of the area's popular radio personalities. Ivani Bing, Danny Boy, Myron Fears, and Jason Nivens spoke to students about careers in radio. Here are some of the highlights.
You never know who you're going to meet, and treat everyone with respect. Yeah, that's my advice. You just never know. In radio, you don't know who people are. So that's been something that I always tell my interns. Be nice to everyone at the station, because you know that person can give you your next job. Also, never be above anything. I started off in sales because I was a Sweet Jack associate, so they'd send me to the Chiefs game, and basically I'd walk around with an iPad and get people to give me your email address so you can hear about Sweet Jack promos. And then I moved up to doing Party Patrol, and then I moved on to being on air, and then social media. So you just never know.
There's two types of interns. There's production intern, there's promotion intern. Promotion intern, you're going to do a lot of bannering and bannering and bannering. And that's great, no, I did that too. But my primary focus, thanks to Professor Radenziner here, was that I got to do some production. And that's, if you want to get into radio and you want to be on air and you want to put commercials together, you want to make spots, production really is try and get in there as much as you can.
What would you say are the top 3 necessary components to succeeding in the industry? And I hope you brought your glean machine.
Glean machine. All right. Sound like Marty Shot. Let's get the glean. All right. Passion. Passion is number 1. I think I've already stated it, but consistency. Also being able to follow directions. And I will always say you got to check your ego, because just like my man just said, sometimes you may not see yourself, and I always say that you got to do a self-check, admit when you're wrong. That's very important.
The only reason we have specific metrics in radio, we have specific standards of testing records and seeing what works and what doesn't and how we rate it and all that fun stuff. And we set the science as an industry. And we set it like 25 years ago. And the way that he's working, he said don't mess with the music. That's right, because you're going to be effing with the Zets, okay? You're messing up those data points, those metrics that these billion-dollar companies have spent years honing. My only argument is our technology we're the slowest updating tech industry ever, except for when it comes to sales. But when it comes to music and when it comes to testing and figuring out what people want to hear, I mean, we
test once a year.
Call out once a year.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this Weezer song from 1996, let's put that in the test and see if people recognize it. Well, I just don't think I feel like we're missing out on stuff. And
this taste and trends change so fast.
And I feel like the science is wrong. I feel like the science is broken. I think people want jocks to be themselves, to be content. And I feel like people really, really can have a musical connection. It can be part of your show if it's done right.
Can I expand on that?
Yes, please.
Because our program totally different. I will say this: a lot of people in the industry, especially on the urban music side, will say, "Well, why the hell are you guys playing Fifth Harmony?"
Right. Because it sounds great.
Well, the boom, 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 boom. That's an urban sound. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but more importantly, 30% of my audience is white.
Right.
So am I going to just, because this is what the hip hop and R&B charts say that I'm supposed to do? No, it's all about what's happening in your marketplace.
Yeah. What's one thing that you can do to stand out in the industry and make your way, like make a name for yourself?
Be focused, be concise. My biggest thing was thinking that everybody wanted to hear what I had to say for 7 minutes, as evidenced by my previous statement. The truth is, if you can be funny in 60 seconds and show up with a produced, self-contained, something that begins and closes, and everybody knows what happens with no explanation, and you show up with that on a weekly basis, there's no way nobody will notice you.
Yeah, originality. I think content is king is what I learned early on. Content is king, and that's a challenge, because you got to find the right content. Also, challenges. There's a tendency for radio conglomerates to voice track a lot of stuff, and I'm sure you guys know what voice tracking is. It's where You're on air, but you're not in the studio. And to me, that's not radio.
That's
not.
dead.
Yeah.
That's dead.
Now, I understand the idea behind it. It was so that larger market personalities could go down into smaller markets and help give them a little boost. But now it's become almost commonplace to where I mean, I remember when I was the first time I was out of radio, I was living in Dallas, and the jock came out of a song, and he totally back sold the wrong song, and then front sold the wrong song, and I'm like, the voice track is off. Like, and that's bad.
You know, you got to be consistent, and you got to be passionate. And a lot of times, there's going to be people that's going to say no. And how are you going to come back? How are you going to recover from it? So, I would say personally, with me, one of the biggest setbacks for me in my life was probably one of the best learning lessons that, you know, hey, I failed at something, everybody fails, how are you going to recover? So that's the thing about it. You just got to, you know, you just got to keep on grinding, you got to be passionate about what you do, and you got to believe in yourself, but you got to stay humble also. That's one thing you got to learn, because there's a lot of people like these guys that got a lot of talent, but their ego, they wear it on their sleeve. But when you're out, and you got a bad ego, you got a bad attitude, nobody want to deal with it. And keep relationships. That's the number one thing.
For JCAV-TV and ECAV Radio, I'm Brandon Barnes, signing off.